Oh, I'm feeling rough because of a property which I'm in just now. It's a bog standard kind of 3-bedroom. You got a bedroom, another kind of bed. Oh no, this would be a living room, I suppose. 2 bedrooms with a living room property. But this place, it's this one has got bad memories for me. Memories which at the time when I came here a couple of years ago, I couldn't hold it in. I ended up crying as I left this property. So it's a weird one. The people that were in this place before, there was a tenant in here who had some sort of a brain aneurysm, maybe is that the right word, where you just get like an explosion going on in your head, like a blood vessel bursts in your head or something like that. And the weird thing is, it's something which can happen to anyone at any time for no apparent reason. Not like, oh, you're highly stressed or anything like that. And the guy was living in here for a couple of years. They had to do some modifications to the flat. They had to put, it looks like a handle here because the guy couldn't walk properly because it burst in his head and caused brain damage. So his walking was impaired. He was in crutches, but then the second time I came along, about a year later, it deteriorated. So even though there's no more bleeding on the brain, the damage was getting worse or something. And it was in this kitchen. He had to have 24-hour care. It got to the point, and so that's where I think. I don't know where he slept. I think he might have even slept in the living room. I'm not too sure, but his carer was in there. She slept there 24 hours, and I think maybe he was in here going on. And yeah, so this guy just a normal guy, just living life normally, and then one day, inside his head. And the tough bit was, there was a table right here, and the carer was trying to feed him some lunch, some tomato soup, and she actually had to have his head in a headlock. Not like in a funny way, just like he was having to hold his head because he couldn't stop shaking his head like this the whole time. It's like whatever it was, whatever part of his motor cortex that was damaged, for her to be able to safely put a spoon of soup, I think that's all he could eat as well. I think it had to be soup, or something that he could swallow easily instead of having to chew, because I think he couldn't chew either. And she had to have him in a headlock. I was feeding him there, and I'm like trying to do a routine inspection. This is when I was a property manager of this place, and it was just heartbreaking. It also damaged his eyes as well, because there's a computer set up in one of the rooms, and he had to, because one time I came in and he was like at this computer, and he was like this far away from the computer staring at the computer. I'm like, what's going on there? Has he got terrible eyesight? He's like, no, it's the brain damage and damaged his eyesight as well in some sort of way. I was just horrific. And the horrificness is that it was to a completely innocent person. To a person who was literally one day out cycling, the next day going to the pub with his mates, the next day, oh, I've got a bit of a headache, got to go down to the doctor. His doctor's like, take some pills, off you go. And next thing you know, he's being rushed to hospital, and if they'd let it go any longer, he would have died straight away. And this is where the tough bit is that he was here, he had to have 24-hour care. I don't know how conscious he was while he was there, and then a couple of years later I hear that he'd passed away. It was about, what, 27? Yeah, he was under 30 years old, and for no apparent reason, burst blood vessel on the inside of your head. Can happen to anyone at any time, under any circumstances. required brain surgery at the time when he had it. So he had brain surgery, still caused brain damage, could barely see, could barely walk, had to be put in a headlock to even just be spoon-fed food, and only had a life from there that carried on for about another 2 or 3 years. It's something which, when I left here, whenever the guy was trying to be spoon-fed and he couldn't stop shaking and he couldn't make it, like he was trying to say something and the carer understood, but as a random person, I didn't have a clue what he was trying to say because it was all garbled. It's something which gives you a little bit of a reality check once in a while. And this place is a tough place for me to come in and get some nice marketing photos. Because that's something which can happen to anyone at any time for no apparent reason. It gives you a little bit, it gives you a bit of a reality check of just kind of going, whatever your problems in life are, what's that? You're not getting paid enough at work, or your car broke down twice this month. Life's terrible. Do you know what? Sometimes having the opportunity of having a car that can break down twice in a month, or having the opportunity to actually be able to complain about the job that you're in, sometimes those are luxuries which every so often we have to figure out how to enjoy. You know, to be able to appreciate the bad things in life is a luxury which us as healthy individuals are able to afford. You know, complain as much as you want about whatever things that are going on, and just every so often think about the people who are beaten by illnesses, diseases, injuries, for no apparent reason, and it's rough. It's just ooh, it's getting me in here. And all it makes me want to do is go home and cuddle and play and jump off the sofa with my little son just now, do Hadoukens on the bed and throw him onto the sofa and get him to jump off the sofa and just have a lot of fun just now, because sometimes not everyone's got it that lucky.